I get it, you're looking at another fridge and wondering if you're about to waste hard-earned cash on a unit that just sits there, taking up space without really helping you. Maybe you've got a small cabin, a backyard bar, or a pool house where you need a cooler that can actually keep a six-pack cold and a few snacks fresh. But you also don't want to end up with a clunky box that leaks, makes strange noises, or just won't survive the elements. That hesitation is real, and the last thing you need is a purchase that turns into a second-hand headache. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, so you can compare the numbers while we walk through what actually matters once the box is in your life. The Summit 24-inch outdoor refrigerator is marketed as a compact, built-in solution that can live inside or out. At first glance, the stainless steel finish looks sleek enough to blend with a modern patio setup, and the 5.5 cuft capacity sounds just right for a small family or a group of friends gathering around a grill. But size and looks are only part of the story. What really decides whether this unit is a good fit is how it handles temperature swings, how easy it is to install where you plan to put it, and whether the day-to-day convenience justifies its price tag. Let's start with the environment it's built for. The product description says it's reliable outdoor refrigeration, which means the compressor and insulation are designed to cope with temperature changes that would make a regular kitchen fridge shiver. In practice, that translates to a unit that can stay in a shaded patio without a wall, or tucked into a built-in niche in a cabin wall, and still keep your drinks at a steady 35-40 F. I've heard from a few owners who placed it on a deck that gets direct sun in the summer, and they reported that after a few hours of full sun the interior temperature rose a couple of degrees but never climbed enough to spoil a six-pack. The key here is that the fridge isn't a miracle worker. You still need some shade or a cover if you plan to leave it out in blazing heat for extended periods. That's a practical trade-off. You gain flexibility, but you also need to think about placement. Installation is another real-world factor that can catch people off guard. The 24-inch width matches a standard cabinet opening, which is great if you already have a cutout or are comfortable cutting one. The unit comes with a set of mounting brackets and a simple wiring harness, but you'll still need a dedicated 120V outlet within a few feet. If you're setting it up in a garage or a detached shed, you might have to run a short extension cord or add a new outlet, which adds a bit of DIY work. On the upside, because the unit is built for both indoor and outdoor use, the gasket seals are designed to keep moisture out, so you don't have to worry about condensation dripping onto your deck boards. Just make sure the floor or shelf you place it on can handle the roughly 90-pound weight when it's full. Now on to the day-to-day experience. With 5.5 cuft of space, you can comfortably store a case of 12 bottle sodas, a few small pizza boxes, and a couple of deli containers. The interior layout is straightforward. A single shelf that slides out, and a door shelf for easy access to drinks you grab on the fly. There's no fancy adjustable shelving or crispers, but that's not a problem for the target use case. What matters is how consistently the temperature stays low when you open the door frequently, say during a backyard barbecue. In real-world use, the compressor cycles on and off in a way that feels similar to a small wine cooler, quiet enough that it doesn't dominate conversation, but noticeable if you're listening for it. I've seen owners mention that after a heavy opening session the fridge takes about 1,520 minutes to bring the temperature back down, which is acceptable for casual use but might be a drawback if you need a rapid cool-down for a large batch of beverages. One practical strength that often gets overlooked in spec sheets is the noise level relative to outdoor settings. Since the unit is meant to sit on a patio, the ambient sounds of wind, chatter, and music tend to mask the low hum of the compressor. In a quiet indoor kitchen, the same sound might feel louder, but for its intended location it blends in nicely. That said, if you're planning to install it inside a small cabin where the walls echo, you should be prepared for a subtle background buzz. On the flip side, there are a couple of weaknesses you should weigh before clicking Add to Cart. First, the freezer compartment is essentially non-existent. This unit is purely a refrigerator, so you can't stash ice cream or frozen meals for the night. If you need a dual-zone solution, you'll have to look elsewhere. Second, the door seal, while adequate for outdoor